Welcome to Auction Version 4, the latest event management software tool from Auction Systems. In this last tutorial in the Item Data Entry series, I will show you the basket feature. The basket feature is used when you have items donated by different donors that need to be combined and sold as a single retail, silent, live, or bid board item. For example, one donor may have donated an autographed football signed by a professional football player. Other donors may have donated other sports memorabilia from the same sports team. Or maybe the team itself donated tickets to a game. All these items may get a higher winning bid when auctioned as a unit rather than individually. The basketing feature allows you to combine these items while still tracking who donated each piece. A donor receipt can be printed for each individual donor for just the item they donated. And for planning purposes, for future auctions, you know exactly who donated what. But the basketing feature combines the individual items, the donors, and the donor values into a single item for the catalog, bid sheets, and winning bidder's invoice. You can also use the basket feature when your organization has purchased an item to enhance a donation that you have received from a donor. If you wish to track the cost of the item your organization purchased as an expense, you can basket the purchased item with the donated item. A basket does not need to be a physical basket. It could be an envelope with several gift certificates, or, like the sports memorabilia, it may be a collection of items without a container at all. Another use of the basket feature is when multiple donors donate a single item. For example, maybe 2 or 3 people will go together to donate a dinner. They might offer to prepare and serve the dinner at the winning bidder's home. The donors will split the cost of preparing the dinner equally or not. It's up to them. Enter a pending item that is this dinner and select one of the donors as the donor of this item in the amount of that donor's donation. Then duplicate that item as another pending item but select a different donor and that donor's donation amount for that item, etc. Those items can be combined using the basketing feature into a single item for sale as a silent, live, retail, or bid board item. The donors and the value of the donated portions will be combined into the single item. The basket feature is not used for a basket of goodies donated by a single donor. If that item will be auctioned off on its own, a physical basket of goodies donated by one donor is entered as a regular item. The items that will make up the basket must be entered as pending items. They are not given an item type or item number. Only the assembled basket will be given an item type and an item number. To create the basket or container, start by clicking the Add button and choose Basket. When you click Add Basket, a new item entry form opens. You'll need to give this basket a short description and/or catalog description. Don't give it a full description yet. If the components you will add to this basket have full descriptions, you will be able to append the full description of each component to the basket once you've selected the items to add to the basket. Let's talk more about the full item description of a component. Because you will be able to append the full item description of individual components to the full item description of the assembled basket, it's a good idea to remember this when entering the component into the data. The full item description for an item that will be sold on its own as a single item usually only needs important buyer beware information such as restrictions, blackout dates, expirations, etc. in the full item description. This will appear on the bid sheet so guests will know the restrictions. But for component items, the full item description may need to repeat the short item description. Let's take the example of an automotive basket that includes a gift card for an oil change from a company called Bob's Automotive. If you were selling this oil change as a standalone item, the short item description might be oil change from Bob's Automotive. And the full item description might be good for one oil change, call to make an appointment, expires December 31st, or something like that. There's no need to repeat the short item description because the bid sheet for this standalone item will have both the short and the full item description. But since this item will not be a standalone item, it would be helpful for this component to repeat the short item description in the full. The full item description for the component could be gift card for one oil change from Bob's Automotive, call to make an appointment, expires December 31st. Since the short item description is not appended to the basket, only the full item description, everything you need to add to the basket description concerning this component should be in the full item description, and you will not need to retype all those details when creating the basket. So once you've given the final container a short item description and/or catalog description, it's time to add components to the basket. Components are any pending items that you would like to put into the basket. If you do not see any components in this list, it means that you have no pending items in your list of items. If an item you would like to add to this basket already is marked as a silent or live and been given its own item number, you will need to edit that item to remove its item type and item number and then save it as pending. It will then show up in the list of pending items available to this basket. Once an item has been selected for a container, the container's donor panel will be updated and the value of the item will be automatically updated. Both these panels will be updated for each component added. Once an item is selected for the container, it will move to the right. Right-click your mouse on a selected component and you will have the choice to view the full item description of the item, edit the full item description of the item, or append the full item description to the full item description of the container. When the full item descriptions of all the components are appended into the container's full item description, go back to the description panel of the container and make any edits necessary to make it all smooth and coherent. If you wish to remove an item from a container, the single left arrow moves things out. The double left arrow will move all the items from the container out of the container. By the way, if you do remove an item from a container, the full item description will not change even though you appended the components to the description in the first place. So, if you do remove a component from a container, be sure to also edit the container's full item description to also remove any reference to that component that is no longer part of the basket. One last thing to look at is the item number type panel for individual components. Once you've added an item to a basket, when you look at the item number type panel for the component, you will see the item is no longer marked as pending, but is now marked as in basket. Also, from the component, you can remove the item from the basket, but before you remove it, you should first edit the container to take out any reference to the item you're about to remove from the container's full item description. If the item were still marked as pending, you can also add the item to an already created basket by clicking Add to Container and picking the specific container it needs to go into. Be sure to edit this basket container to append this new component's full item description to the container's full item description. Thank you for joining us.